Coach Vogel, thanks for joining us this week on Cardinal Rewind. Conference championship was this past weekend. 3 days of competitive golf against all the GLIAC schools. Fourth place finish for the Cardinals. Kind of give us an overview of how the tournament went. I know there was some weather stuff early on and through the 3 days. So
yeah, well, first of all, this is the first time we've gone to the format where we have a one-day practice round and then 3 days where we stretch out the 54 holes. In the past, we've always tried to get 36 holes in on one day and then the final round on the third day. So it's a 4-day tournament, somewhat of a long road trip for us to a certain degree. The weather, even though we had some bad weather back here in Michigan, it wasn't as bad down in Ohio, but it was very windy. We had wind gusts up to 40 miles an hour during the first round, and consequently, as you would expect in any golf tournament, high winds is going to create high scores. So it was a matter of survival on that first day, and we ended up 6 shots back. Could have, should have, would have, hit a couple out of bounds. Everybody has their own stories when it comes to like that. Every team, every kid. But in the most part, we survived and didn't get too far back. 6 shots, still you can make those up in 36 holes easy enough. Second day, wind, maybe not the high gust, but it was still 20, 25 mile an hour winds. Scores got to be a lot better simply because they allowed what we call ball in hand. They played, because of all of the rain, the golf course was very wet, a lot of mud on the ball. Anytime the ball hit the ground, it was picking up some level of mud. And anytime you have mud on the ball, you go to hit a shot, that ball could react in a lot of goofy directions, could go a lot of different ways. So when you play ball in hand, that's basically you get to lift, clean, and place, all within a scorecard length of where the original ball lay, but you get perfect lies. And so the wind, even though it might be 20, 25 miles an hour, you've got a perfect lie in every situation. So you hit a bad shot, it's because of bad talent. It hasn't anything got to do with the lie. At least it shouldn't. So consequently, the scores were down, and we had a good round. We, in fact, late in our round is when we really rallied. One of our players, Skidmore, he was absolutely went crazy. He was 5 under in his last 6 holes. A couple of the other guys were a couple under as they brought the rounds in, so ended up having a 4 over par, 292. Pretty good round, not as good as a couple of other teams, and consequently we lost a couple more shots to where we were 10 down. Going into the third day, weather prediction is going to be absolutely perfect, high 50s and very little wind, and that's exactly what we got. And as the day went on, it got to be really nice. But it was one of those kind of days where we're 10 back, and there's several programs in the conference. All the coaches can talk to one another about it, where they know they've got guys that can play around par and even subpar. And we've got 5 of those guys on our team. And now it's a matter of can we get hot? Can we get our putters hot? Can we get getting some early birdies in the round, get a little bit of a roll, and it just never really happened for us. We kind of, I don't want to say we stumbled and bumbled, but we did miss a lot of birdie opportunities, and consequently never got on what I call on top of the wave, where everything's a positive and you can't think of anything negative. Didn't happen for us, and as you saw by the scores, Grand Valley had that actually happen to them. They had one kid just all of a sudden got on a roll, shoots 65, another guy shoots 69, another one 71. Got another guy shoots even par. That's pretty good. And they lapped the field on the last day. They were 11 shots down. They were 1 shot worse than us going into the last day. Had the same feeling from the coaching staff as well as the players. You can do it. And the thing here is that Grand Valley did it and nobody else. So finishing 4th, I'd still say it's pretty good for us, but we still felt that even going into the last day that we had a shot at winning the championship. And my hat's off to all the guys on our team. In fact, all the way through the program, because we have a pretty competitive team from probably from the number 1 man through to about the number 10 spot. And very easily I could put any one of those guys into the lineup. And it's the challenging task of coaching is to find the guys that are hot to put into the lineup, but it's also a part of I think a pretty strong program when you've got that many pieces that you can interchange. So really, my hat's off to all the guys in the program. They did what I think is a pretty good fall for us. We had a first, a second, this fourth now. Our one lame duck was that regional tournament where we only had one bad round and took 12th. But all in all, we've got a pretty good fall under our belts, and we're going to have our heads up high, and we're going to have a lot more higher expectations to do even better for the spring part of the season.
Why don't you talk just a little bit about some of the individual accomplishments or performances over the course of the 3-day tournament? 54 holes is a lot of time to get a good sampling of how different guys are playing. And like you said earlier, Skidmore carried you for a little while, but why don't you give us some feedback on how some of the other guys did?
Well, I'll start right off. Probably the most consistent player, and if you look at the scores, was Dustin Vogel. Shoots a what the heck did he have? Was it 76, 75, 75, something like that, I think. Never got anything to go in the hole that really, could get anybody too excited. So just a pretty solid performance for 54 holes. The other guys a little bit more up and down. More on the upside for guys like Hansen, who in his first round had 79. Then he ended up having a slight derailment. I'll use the words that were written on our webpage for his second round, where he triple bogeyed the 17th hole and bogeyed the 18th hole for 77. So he had a pretty good round going. Yesterday, a round that didn't really surprise me. I mean, it was nice to see him shoot 70, but conditions were more Adam Hansen conditions. The golf course, even though it was wet, still wasn't playing all that long, and he's the type of player that's got a great short game, and when he's not fighting the length of some of these courses that we have to play on, he performs really well, and he proved it yesterday with a 70. So really a good tournament for him as he battled all the way through 54 holes, making it going from what was not a very good round. An unfortunate situation, another round, a lost ball on that triple bogey, which everybody even saw where it was at. But again, one of those situations where leaves, soft conditions, the next thing you know, you've got a lost ball. If you can't find it in 5 minutes, even though people know where exactly in the area it's at, but if you can't find it, you can't find it. Wyatt Dross did a really good job. He battled pretty well both days. He struggled on the first day, along with the weather, and everybody else struggles. But on the last two rounds, he missed an awful lot of birdie putts. Very frustrating for him all the way through. Those 74s probably could have been 68s had he, gotten the putter to work a little bit better for him. And Eric Gandy, was a little up and down for the tournament. He was our number one man. He's been our number one guy basically through all of our qualifying and everything else that's gone on through the season. I think I'm not sure exactly what happened. I haven't had a chance to talk with Eric about particularly yesterday's round, because that was a round that we felt that we really needed some low scoring, and for some reason Eric went the other way. But aside from that, he played pretty tough on that second day, got us into a pretty good position team-wise. And then Skidmore, what can I say about Skidmore? Yeah, I still think he's one of the better players in our conference. He's certainly one of the better players on our team, and his guy will end up proving to be one of the better players probably in the history of Saginaw Valley golf.
With the finishing of the conference tournament, where do you go from here to improve as a team and then get ready for your spring season?
Well, I spoke about it on the drive home last night. Our putting, for some reason, we just are not. We just don't make very many putts. I mean, we've got guys that are constantly looking at 5, 6, 7 foot birdie putts, and we just don't get our share of them. Not in comparison to what I see happens with a lot of other programs. So, somehow, one way or another, we're going to work on our putting. We're going to just continue to keep driving home that point that, inside 10 feet, you got to just start making those putts one way or another. I think we probably hit the ball as well as any of the other schools that we're competing against. It just boils down to, again, that putter in hand. So I'm going to, again, just continue to keep forcing that particular thought as far as where we got to practice our game. It'd be nice to be able to get an indoor facility through the winter months to work on that. And we've got something in the works right now. Whether it happens this year or not is yet to be seen. But our winter program starting in January, we're going to take a couple months off, but starting in January, we're going to get back after it because our season begins again for the spring portion in March. And basically, it's going to be the short game that we're going to work on. So wait for the spring, wait for the winter months to get here. Nobody wants to hear that.
All right. Thanks, Coach, for the insight, and we look forward to talking to you in the near future about the golf team.
All right. Thank you.